We're going to be going through the keyhole of one of the engineers' spaceships that features in Aliens Fireteam Elite. Now, I have actually reviewed this game before many moons ago, and it's got a end of season 4 new pathogen update coming up very soon. I actually don't mind the game. It's had a few hot fixes. I go back to it quite a lot. It's quite fun on single player. I'll explain why later in the video, but this is really not going to be about any of the combat, just soaking up how well they've done the latter part of this campaign, because it's only now that I've got to it. This is one of the sort of load-in landing docks, and you can see the roof is that spiral opening system that we saw at the end of Prometheus when it tried to take off.
Pathogen jars.
They dangerous?
Only if opened. We couldn't dent the casing.
So this armory room, quite faithful to the stuff we saw in Covenant and a little bit in Prometheus. It's bigger than the one in Prometheus, but the way it's all stacked and those columns, what a daunting place to be in. Just one little bit of black goo in your eye and it's over.
Signal's closing! Error unknown! What the fuck were those?
I thought this scene was absolutely awesome, showing the engineer's suits all lined up in a column, and then you get scanned by the machine of the ship itself. It's a really cool segment.
Merely a scan.
For what?
Insufficient data, but it appears you passed.
For a game that's not full price, and for my PC not being a larger rig, I was so impressed with how it's always looking. I was just so into capturing everything. The tables, the way that the masks come down and they sit in the chairs are really faithful to the ones on set with the films. But this pipe and tubing and console stuff, some of it looks a little bit out of canon to me. They don't seem big enough, nothing seems large enough. Those engineers are like 8-9 feet tall, and this furniture just seems a bit skimpy. The Bombay, the famous massive spherical chamber that David stood on the edge of, looking down as he eradicated an entire planet with the vases full of goo getting smashed down on their heads. What a scene. What an incredible bit of architecture.
Garbled signal could be a stalker!
This is me getting cornered by some abominations, like the form humans took if the goo got on them in real time, like Holloway and that other obnoxious scientist, Dead Body Arena guy.
Bypassing damage.
If you've delved into some of the Aliens comics, especially the older ones, they deal with what was in the chair, as they call it, the creature that they found in Alien 1. And of course, before the engineers were written in by Ridley and his team, it was a very different affair. And I'm quite glad that the latter happened. I wasn't too keen. If you've seen the elephant-like design of that creature, I think we got a pretty good deal. This looks to be some sort of cryo chamber. These are upright sleeping pods. There are more further in the video, but this has got the spherical holographic design. Not too sure what the functionality of this room could be. Maybe the engineers just sleep wherever, but this is probably just whacked in to give it a bit of variety. Probably my favourite shot of the video. I spent about 45 minutes in this chamber, and we all know the heritage of this installation. Not this particular one, but this goes back right to the original film, and it was a very clever angle, I thought, of making the helmets into that cool idea of them sitting in, it being a navigation tool almost. There was speculation that was where the signal was coming from. It could have been a gun. The set piece in the original film is just absolutely iconic. So this is the set piece from Prometheus, right at the end act. We're back in like Alien Isolation territory now, where I'm walking around some of my favourite film set pieces. There are the cryo chambers that would have been positioned around the navigation tool, hence my comment earlier about there being more than one chamber. And this is where, you know, David talks to the engineers. There's his chair. This looks far more in scale and believable than the previous sort of desks, and they've got that gooey button thing going on. Can't see the flute, but love this room. Getting this footage, not being annoyed by random spawns, the game's a bit Left 4 Dead-y, where it will just keep pumping stuff at you if you stay stationary, was so difficult. So please give me a like and a sub if you've just found me, because this took ages. But it paid off. I love looking at this level. It's so cool to get to it in the game. And that pathogen stuff's going to be pretty epic, hopefully. totally forgot about that AI thing I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I like pretending that I'm actually got AI working Joe. I know they are working Joe guys, but the AI is really good. You have actually got real AI playing with you. Does that make sense? Like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'll leave you with a bit of Xenos butchery. I have been Couch Coop. We got number 8 coming up. You guys know what I'm talking about. See you there.